So we're walking on this piece of property. It's a big
Right.
property that you just purchased.
Yes, I did.
But you had to take a
I
risk.
did.
Why should people take risks?
The greater the risk, the greater the reward. So, I mean, if you want a reward, you have to take some version of risk. I think that's one of the things we talk about a lot in this whole entrepreneur versus business world. And my coaching is targeted towards entrepreneurs. I think business people are needed. I'm a business person, but deep down, I'm an entrepreneur. And I want to reach out to the people out there that really want to explore this inner calling to be an entrepreneur. Now let me tell you something. An entrepreneur is exactly what we're talking about here. Someone that takes a little more of a risk, right? A business person is maybe somebody who's doesn't have a high appetite for risk, and they decide to buy the McDonald's franchise because they pick the location, they pick the traffic count, they pick the exact sign, they pick exactly the menu, they give you all the SOPs to be successful, and you know if you invest $500,000 on the spreadsheet, you're going to have a return of X. That's more of a business person. But an entrepreneur, on the other hand, is the person that says, hey, I do want to do hamburgers, but I want to do it on this location, right? And I want to make it like this, with a special meat, like prime rib brisket, hamburger, beef meat. And I want to do it out of a big red trailer on a location that's never been done before, right? And I want to call it Tom's Donuts Brisket Burgers. I mean, that's crazy, that's whack, right? But the point of the matter is it's the same thing. It's hamburger versus hamburger, but the entrepreneur, to make the point a little more specific, is willing to take a risk on making it more all of his own, or more of his own, or their own, or her own, right? And take that risk of being uniquely different, doing something just a little more special, just something just a little more differently. And that requires risk. Now here's the difference also between an entrepreneur and a business person. The business person is really a little bit more rigid and more Excel spreadsheet minded. The entrepreneurial person really only cares about the success of their idea, certainly at first. It doesn't need to make money, it just has to work to fulfill that inner excitement of being successful, right? And so those are the difference. And so the biggest question you asked me was, why do we need to take risk? Well, if you're wired differently, risk is inherent in our vocabulary. If you're wired differently, we're definitely geared towards risk. And this entrepreneurial mindset that we have is a little bit less risk adverse than others. Click below. Let's talk about your risk appetite, and let's go get it entrepreneurially with Wired Differently and Todd Saylor Coaching.